how's it hanging? So recently I was in the city for like no specific reason. Normally I'm in the city to pick up comic books or see a movie or something like that, but this time I just want to get a coffee in Starbucks and then read a book to kind of chill out and get away from the house, because sometimes it gets kind of lonely just living in a house by yourself and you just want to get out and just do stuff. What I do when I'm in the city certain times, I will go around to different bookstores and stuff like that. I just kind of look for books that I want to get, because I literally have like a list, not really a list to be honest, it's more like just screenshots of a couple of LGBTQ plus books that I want to read. And what I do is most times I'll go in the city and I'll just go to different bookstores to try and find them. This time I just went into the city, just kind of look around, went to different bookstores, try and find if I could see any of them. I actually got 5 books, but the thing is only one of them was on my list, because I found out certain books that I have read from the authors that have released more books that are LGBTQ plus books, so I was like, okay, I gotta read these books too. Yeah, so I might as well get into it. The first book is, this book I actually saw last year before Pride. They were like showing like the whole themes like section on like Pride and like LGBTQ plus books, kind of like promoting and all that. And this book actually I saw before, but I didn't want to get it at the time because it was like there was books that I wanted to get specifically and I didn't really think I wanted to get this book. But recently I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this book because it looks really good. Theme is Pride, and like it's like a book that has like lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans and queer writers, artists, like all different stuff. Like they create like short stories, poems, pictures, all this stuff, different stuff in it. And it's just, it looks really good. I haven't read any of these books yet, but I'm like planning definitely gonna read this. I love poetry so much. Like I've written a couple of poetry myself, and I was like, I'll read this book because I just want to support LGBTQ plus writers, artists, all that stuff, and just this better way to do this and get this. I got this in Tumblr, which is on Grafton Street. So the rest of the books I got all in Eason's, and if you haven't heard of Eason's, it's kind of like the Irish version of Waterstones. Recently, like in the last few months, I got really into this book here. It's more like a graphic novel, but I also call it a story as well. But yeah, like it's called Hairstopper. This is volume 3. Basically, it's a really good book. It's about two guys, Charlie Spring and Nick Nelson, and basically Charlie is like this kid in school that like, he was outed for being gay without his know-how. Like basically he didn't actually plan any of that, and like so like it's all about him kind of just deal with this type of stuff. And then Nick comes along and befriends him, and then it's all about kind of how their friendship develops and things happen, and that's all I'm gonna say. But it's a good book. When I first started reading this and the first 2 volumes, I loved it, and I just couldn't put it down until I finished off this graphic novel book, whatever. But it's really good. So the next one is this book here. It's Finishing Son, which is a book by Adam Silvera, and if you haven't heard of Adam Silvera, I actually love his books. Well, they're really good books. And like basically I started off reading Becky Albertalli's books, but after I saw Love, Simon in the cinema about 2 years ago, I was like, okay, I want to go read the actual book of the Simon vs. Homo Sapien agenda. Then after that I got into The End of the Offbeat, The Upside of Unrequited, and also What If It's Us, which is a book that both Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli made together in a collaboration. When I basically read What If It's Us and decided, you know what, I'm going to read Adam's book as well, which is They Both Died in the End, History Is All He Left Me, More Happy Than Not. I think that's all I know. And yeah, so I basically got into Adam's books, and he mentioned that he was releasing this book here, Infinity Son, at the start of this year. Naturally, I wanted to read it. It's kind of like, I guess you could say it's like a gay Harry Potter. It's a fantasy novel and it's LGBTQ plus books. So it's the first book in the series, and I really gotta read it. I don't know if it's a gay Harry Potter is kind of the right way to say it, but it's like kind of like that. But yeah. So the plot of this book is 2 brothers thrown into an epic war, generations in the making. A fight for good and evil between those born with power and those who took it. One brother has the power to end it all, the other will stop at nothing in his pursuit of glory. Who will live forever and who will die trying? So I'm gonna read that very soon, hopefully. And the next one I'm gonna kind of talk about both of them together. So I got these 2 books here. I've got Boy Meets Boy and Are We There Yet? Which at first I thought was books about the same characters. I thought this was the first book and this was a sequel. But I found out I was wrong, because these aren't sequels at all. These 2 are like totally separate books, but they're part of a series of books, but they're kind of about different characters. So they're technically not connected at all, really. But yeah, so I basically have read David Levitan, never pronounced his name right. David Levitan, his books. I basically read one of his books book was Will Grayson, and I wanted to read that book, and I started reading it. I'm up to like page 100 now, and I am really enjoying the book. And when I found out he also makes like older LGBTQ plus books, I was like, okay, I gotta read those. Then I saw these both in Easton's, and I was like, okay, should I get them both? I don't know, and I decided to get them both. So yeah, he also made the book Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List. The plot from Boy Meets Boy is he looks up at me, and then after a beat he breaks out smiling. Hey, he says, I've been looking all over for you. I don't know what to say. I'm so happy and so scared. Paul's been gay his whole life, and he's confident about almost and everything. He doesn't have to hide his feelings like his best friend Tony, or even cope with loving the wrong guy like his other best friend Joni. But heartbreak can happen to anyone. Falling in love changes everything. So that's that one. And then Are We There Yet? It is like Danny isn't used to having something in common with Elijah, however slight. Their last name is rope that ties them together. Danny and Elijah's lives could not be more different, but journey together sweeps them up in the romance, wonder and breathtaking beauty of Italy, and falling in love opens their eyes of the distance that's drawn between them. Can one girl remind them of what it means to be brothers? Well, yeah, I'm going to read those both books and I'm going to enjoy them. And the last book is this. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. This was actually on my list on my phone, and I want to read this because apparently it's a really good book, and also my friend recommended this book to me as well. I'm looking forward to read this, and the plot of this is Dante can swim, Ari can. Dante is articulate and self-assured. Ari has a hard time with words and suffers from self-doubt. Dante gets lost in poetry and art. Ari gets lost in thoughts of his older brother who is in prison. Dante is fair-skinned. Ari's features are much darker. It seems that a boy like Dante, with his open and unique perspectives on life, would be the last person to break the walls down that Ari has built around himself. But against all odds, when Ari and Dante meet, they develop a special bond that will teach them the most important truths of their lives and help define the people they want to be. But there are big hurdles in their way, and only by believing in each other and the power of their friendship can Ari and Dante emerge stronger on the other side. Can't wait to read this book and every other book here, and anything to do with LGBTQ plus, like romance or any of that stuff, I just love so much. I know that's probably pathetic, but the thing is, I read all these books to kind of in hopes that someday I will find like the one and like spend the rest of my life with them and like be happy, and like all these books that probably like some people would think it's torture for you because in fact you're reading all these books about all these happy couples and all that, but you don't have that. But the thing is, not all the books I read are all like all happy ending, and like Adam Silvera's books especially, they don't always have happy endings. Most of them don't. They're very realistic endings, and even though like the plot is very like out there, it still has realistic endings at the end. I'm a hopeless romantic, so I was like, all I want is just to be with someone and treat them the way that I want to be treated myself. So if you have any like LGBTQ plus books that you think I should read, tell me down below, and tell me your favourite LGBTQ plus book that you have read or that you want to read. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week in another video. Bye! Also, I was gonna say, there is gonna be more dancing videos in the future. I just need to plan them out more, because as I've kind of learned from previous dance videos, I need to put more practice into the dance moves before I actually go and do the dances. Yeah, so